Hello everyone, welcome back to Matrix Wisdom YouTube channel. In recent weeks, the possibility of extraterrestrial life has become high-profile news again thanks to a series of congressional hearings that sought to uncover what the US government really knows about unidentified flying objects. After watching hours of testimony, we began to ask ourselves an important question. What would happen if governments around the world suddenly announced that they were in contact with an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization? It would undoubtedly create enormous interest, but how would the general public react? Some scientists believe that such an announcement would cause mass hysteria, while others argue that the initial excitement would eventually settle down and life would continue as usual. We thought long and hard about how to answer this question, and after much discussion, we decided not to write an article or invite an expert to the studio. Instead, we decided to do something very different. We asked 50 ordinary people to share their thoughts on the subject. We would also love to hear your opinions in the comment box below. Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. How would the public react if governments around the world suddenly announced they were in contact with an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization?
Well, it's funny that you should ask this because I've literally just seen online, I don't know if it's a hoax or not, or if it's like the government just trying to distract us from something, but they said that they have non-human body remains from a UFO crash. And people are like, oh my God, that's crazy. Scroll to the next video. So I think we have kind of become very desensitized to things. And the government they're quite known for pulling stunts and lies and that kind of thing. So I think if it actually did get announced, people would just kind of be like, oh, crazy.
I think it'd kind of be, I think half of us would kind of react with hysteria and half with indifference. I feel like there's already so many crazy things going on at the moment where people would just be like, oh, okay, I'm not surprised. But then I think another half would be kind of like making loads of memes and doing that whole kind of thing. Yeah.
I think people would be scared. I think some people would be excited as well. So probably a mixture of the two.
I think everyone would just be scared. I think obviously conspiracy theorists would love it, but I just think the rest of us would be really scared. And part of me thinks that maybe they have and they're just not telling us because of what the general reaction of the public would be like.
I think they have. I think they're hiding it from us. And I think that if they were to reveal it to the public, in every room in the world, one of two phrases would be said, I knew it or told you so. Because, there's always that debate. Someone in the room is going to believe aliens are real. So I think, yeah. It would send complete chaos, I think, because we'd be like, they've been here and we haven't been told about them. What the fuck do we do? Like, it's just interesting. There's life beyond us,
I think personally, I'd be a bit panicked because if they're intelligent enough to communicate with us, then that problem is they're probably intelligent enough to hurt us. So I'd imagine there'd sort of be, it would end up in like two camps of we love the aliens, let's meet the aliens, versus other people like we're terrified of the aliens, we hate the aliens. It would be a whole like Skyrim Civil War type scenario playing out.
I think there'd be some people that aren't surprised, there would be some people that would panic immensely, and then there would be some people that just don't care and have been expecting it for ages. So I think it would just be a mixed reaction, but I think it would probably bring a lot of destruction to the world as we know it anyway.
Some people wouldn't believe it. Probably, I don't think it'd be a sense of panic. I think a lot of people wouldn't believe it until they actually saw it for themselves.
I think there'll be a lot of like curiosity because a lot of people are very they like their conspiracy theories and things like that, I think. But I also think a lot of people will be really angry and furious because people don't like the government hiding things from them. I think it would cause like a mass panic within society and everyone would stress out.
I think most people would say I'm not crazy after all because, again, I believe in aliens, I believe in some extra life out there, so I can take off my tinfoil hat and start talking to everyone now and tell them that's true. So
I think a lot of people wouldn't believe it, which is what's currently going on in the trial. I think it would take a lot of people like me to see it to actually believe it. I don't think people would just believe it on a news report.
I think it'd be a mixture. I think it'd be a mixture of people would absolutely freak out, or it'd be a case of I told you so. Because you see so many conspiracy theories. It depends in what sense. It depends if they are a threat, or it depends if it's just so happens they've come across it and like I said, the world's massive. The world is so complicated, I don't think anyone can wrap their head around it. So, in that sense, I wouldn't be too surprised, which is quite shocking, don't you think?
I think some people would freak out, find it weird and scary. I'd think it'd be good, interesting. I'd like to know more about it.
We'd all stock up on toilet paper again. Everyone would get scared. Yeah, and they'd start building underground basements and everything, and it just wouldn't be very good at all.
I think we'd all wait to be taken.
Well, they have recently, haven't they, in America? But I don't think it would change much, to be honest. I think people would be skeptical of it, even if it was like found in fact. Yeah.
I think they'd be fascinated, but also a bit scared. I think it'd be obviously interesting. Maybe people that don't believe it and want like proof. Yeah, a weird mix of being intrigued and excited, but also a bit wary and worried.
I think the public would think, what a bunch of absolute muppets they chose to communicate with.
I think there would be a widespread curiosity and slight panic. I think there'd be a mass interest. I think everyone would want to know what was going on, what was being said, what they wanted, what language are they speaking, can we actually understand what they're saying, can they understand us? Yeah, I think there'd be lots of questions. I think it would be all over the media and no one would shut up talking about it and everyone would be posting their opinions on whatever social media that they were on. Yeah.
If the government, I think the public would go batshit crazy. Like, some people would be really excited, some people would be shitting it, wouldn't they? And people wouldn't know who to trust or whether we're all in. I would probably fear for my life. When any tiny thing happens, I immediately go to, we're all about to die any second now. So I think, that's where my mind would go. Imminent death.
I think there'd definitely be a lot of mixed reactions. I think a lot of people would be scared. A lot of people would think, "Oh, this is really cool," and hopefully there won't be any kind of like raids of like Area 51 or something like there was before. So,
what? Well, how would society react if the government turned around and said, "Oh, by the way, guys, aliens are real"? They'd be like, "What are you hiding? What? Cool, we know that, and we've known that for a long time, but what are you hiding? Why are you telling us now?" I feel like we're a bit... I feel like society is cautious of what the government tells them, for good reason, regardless of political party.
Well, I mean, this has actually happened recently, right, in the US, that they've shown like a lot of evidence which sort of shows that like at least there's various unexplained phenomenon and there's some suggestion that they're in contact with aliens. But I think that people react with a mixture of curiosity and disbelief and generally just react off the biases they already have. Like if you were someone who sort of thinks, "Oh, there's definitely aliens and they're definitely in contact with us," then you'll react like, "Oh, see, I told you." And if you were someone who's like always been strongly skeptical of some claims, then you would just react like, "Oh, it's probably nonsense." It's interesting, but it's possible, I suppose.
At this point, I think no one would believe them, which is just classic because everyone thinks a lot of people think, aliens built ancient monuments that were made painstakingly by our ancestors, which is really actually a bit offensive. And then at the same time, the government come forward to go, "Oh, we've actually met some now," and people wouldn't believe them because there's no trust in science, government, any kind of official body now when they come out with extraordinary claims. People require more than extraordinary evidence.
Do you know, I think people would just be like, "Yeah, okay." I think we are so unbothered by things now that we just accept things, whether it's right or wrong. I mean, I go back to the pandemic. If you had have asked me in 2010, okay, with the entire world, no one's going to go out, we're all going to stay in because someone told us to, I'd go, no, I'm going out. I'm going to do this. No one's going to tell me what to do. Like, yeah, well, it's an invisible thing you can't see, but it's really dangerous, so don't go near it. The idea of it's so bizarre, yet we just follow. We are so much like sheep that I think if they said we've been abducted aliens, I'd be like, okay, then what are we going to do next? Like, you tell me what we're going to do. Are we going to be friends with them? Are we not? Do we like them? Do we not? And it's almost like the world. We choose the countries that, oh, we don't like those people. We choose the countries, oh no, well, they're our friends, they're our allies. It's whoever decides, and it's so, people aren't going to form their own opinion. If aliens were to come down, we would ask, are they friendly to us? And who are we asking? Who do we know? Surely it should be our interaction saying, yes, they're friendly, or no, they're not. But we're not going to do that. We're going to wait for someone else to tell us what to do.
I'd like to think there'd be some type of reaction, but I think a lot of people would be nonplussed. Like, people keep saying things about aliens and no one seems to react. Maybe if on actual visualizing them in reality, there might be panic.
There'd be excitement, fear, a lot of conversation in the workplace. Yeah, I imagine new communities would form. A new organisation would probably form with the purpose of making contact with alien life or finding out, just to find more information, gain new knowledge on it. And yeah, there'd be controversy.
How would the public react? That'd be interesting. I feel there'll be chaos, to be honest, and that is because people are scared. They wouldn't know what to do, and if aliens exist and they're flying around with these highly advanced vehicles, they obviously have the technology that could be like free energy or something like. And people are. The climate now isn't great at the moment, so people will be like, why should I be working? Why should I be paying this for the gas, electricity when we've got this technology out there? It should be free for us. And then there's the other aspect of it is religion as well, because there's so many different religions out there. And then for an alien race to come down and say, oh, they know about how we came to Earth and everything like that, and they're telling them that their religion is like total rubbish, like it's man-made and stuff like that. There'll be like riots, protests, everything like that. I feel like that would be the street. That could be one of the reasons why it's quite the main news outlets quite quiet about it, and people say, why didn't the government tell the public about aliens existing and UFOs and stuff like that? But they're probably protecting us, really. They're probably protecting us from what we can do. They're not scared of the aliens, also they could be peaceful, but they're probably just worried what we'll do when they announce it.
I actually don't think there'd be much change. I think it would be something you see on the films, like a great one is Mars Attacks. That's a great film. I don't think there'd be much of a change. I think the majority of people would probably be like, okay, fair enough. If something big was happening, like, I don't know, a big spaceship, a craft visited Earth, and there was a massive greeting, two nations or two species coming together, there might be something on the scale of the moon landings, but I think the majority of people would probably just not be fazed. So, but we shall see.
I think, as with most breaking news, there would be complete hysteria in the news and on social media. And then after about a week or so, people would just go back to their normal lives and go shopping at Aldi and completely forget about it.
I think the public actually would. I think the public understands that we already have. I think a lot of people think that we already have made contact with aliens. So I think the revelation to them that, oh yeah, we've done it, but there was a certain protocol in place where we needed to do it. I think there'd be a fair few, as you see on Facebook, a lot of people are very opinionated, but I think like on the whole, we just seem to get over the idea quite quickly because I think it's an idea that people have suspected for a long time.
I think it's definitely happened, but I don't think they'd ever admit to it. Like, look at like the Roswell case, you know. I believe something happened there. I think there's been loads of incidents, and I believe it's all been covered up to protect people. Knowledge is power. But yeah, fuck. Yeah.
I mean, that's a very fitting question for what's going on right now. I mean, we just skip over to Twitter. We see that people aren't really that bothered that the government have come out and said, yeah, we've been in contact. I think aliens are so well embedded into our culture now that I don't think anybody would really be perturbed about it. Yeah.
I don't think it would ever go down well because there's always going to be those people, oh, we knew it, they never told us, scaremongers. The press would absolutely blow it out of the water. So even if it is happening, I don't think they'll ever be able to tell us. There'll have to be some kind of accidental unveiling. Oh, no, an alien just walks across the thing, but like you don't even know what they look like. They might just look like us. They might wear suits. Who knows? So I don't think it will ever happen. So
I would say like 50% of the public would be like, oh yeah, would be hyped about it. Like, okay, let's go on a holiday for another planet. But obviously always have like certain group of people who are like, whoa, what's that? No, we don't want that. We don't want changes. So possibly they will attack this other race, and that will be the end of us, to be honest.
So that's a conveniently timed question. So the US government has just announced it, that they've been had some sort of communication. A week ago, I thought it was said like people panic, but the actual reaction is people are just so burnt out trying to survive in life. They've gone, yeah, great, we don't care. If you put like, I don't know, cucumbers were more expensive, £1.50 more expensive, people care more about that.
Not surprised at all. I mean, obviously, it is being announced. So, but yeah, that's not surprising to me at all. I fully believe that.
Well, I'm pretty sure they have in the past week and a half in the US. So, given that and given how unbothered we are, I feel like we're all so exhausted with everything else that's bad in the world right now that we don't really care.
Ooh, like if there was solid, hard evidence, people might be freaking out a little bit, or maybe excited. I think that'd be certainly like the internet would blow up over it. Certainly, yeah.
I think there'd be the extraterrestrial life. Oh my god, wow, okay. And then it would be, oh, the government's been lying to us again. I don't think that's anything new, and I don't think that's surprising. It's what governments do. Sometimes I think they're doing it in our best interest. Whether or not they are doing it in our best interest, probably not, but I think people would just turn this around straight to oh, the government's lying to us. That's nothing new.
I generally don't think they'd be shocked. I mean, everyone already thinks, they're hiding something like an Area 51 and all of that. There's all these conspiracy theories. So the government openly admitted, oh yeah, we found aliens. A public like, yeah, we knew like 30 years ago.
I mean, personally, I don't think I'd really care. I think I'd just be a bit like, okay, cool. But I think you have like so many spectrums on people who would react differently. I think generically, I feel like it would just be a meh kind of thing. But I think you would get some people that were like crazy about it, and then some people that were like, no, it's definitely not true.
Personally, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think there'd be lots of contention, and I think people would be split down the middle. I think there would be a group of people, maybe the more left people who would want to like empathize and maybe like make contact and make peaceful contact, and then there might be the other side that would be like, get away, we don't want you here, or something like that. So yeah, I think there'd be a lot of contention.
I think there would be a lot of conspiracy theorists who would say we were right. Probably would make the headlines in the news. I think people would be shocked.
I think there'll be a big divide between the people who were absolutely indifferent and the people who were amazed at the facts. But there'll be a lot of people who just simply don't care.
I think we're already at that point now. I think it's just a matter of time until our governments all line up together and tell us that there is things beyond Earth.
I think with the way that our government's been going with COVID and how they've handled it, I don't think I would believe that, because they lied to us about keeping safe during lockdown, yet they had these secret parties during COVID. So I think if it was from the government, for me personally, I don't think I would believe them. Not really.
Absolute mayhem and bedlam. I think people would go in all sorts of directions. And I think that they wouldn't tell people, because I don't think that they would trust people with their emotions of how that would impact their lives and things like that. I hope it happens one day, but yeah, I don't think they will at all.
So there we go. Some would panic, some would be scared, some would be fascinated, some wouldn't care, and others wouldn't believe it. The big question is, how would you react if your government announced they were in contact with an extraterrestrial civilization?